Hi, hey, hello. Welcome to this vlog. I am from the future. I didn't record an intro for this vlog, so I thought I'd pop in real quick and just tell you. This is going to be a reading vlog over... I read about 4 books over the span of a few weeks. So I guess let me kick you over to past me. Hope you enjoy. I'll admit, 105 pages in to this book, our main character, in my personal opinion, is insufferable. He's insufferable. Like, you... It's just... at some point, I'm like, is it gonna get better? Because he's insufferable and not interesting at the same time. And it's just such a bummer. Dude, my wavy hair looks wildin' when I have it behind a headset. Anyways, I'm 170 pages in and still really can't. I really just don't like being in this character's head. What's his name? Austin? I'm like in it because I want to see how it goes. But I just like, I don't like being in his head. Not a fan. And I can't gauge if like Diego's gonna be bi or also gay, and they're gonna have like their first queer experience together. But nothing is really happening 170 pages in. like this could, like, it is a little tension building, but the way he's already obsessed with him, I just like, I don't know. I don't really know. Yeah, which is such a bummer because I've been wanting tennis romances for so long, and I've read a handful of them, and only one I've really liked. And I was trying to give it a chance to, like, okay, read an MM romance from someone who identifies as an M. It's just a bummer. 47% through, and yet it feels like all I've experienced is Diego popping in and out playing Mario Kart, and Austin just being in his head about like, oh, I'm just a nervous wreck all the time. All the time. You're a nervous wreck all the time. All the time. That's... I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed currently. I'll try to make this quick. I finished this last night. Sorry if you can hear the dishwasher and you might hear leaf blowers. I'm trying to make this fast. It's a Tuesday, and you know what? They're always here. So I finished this to no fanfare, and what a disappointment. This is not a romance. This is a 19, 20-year-old man with severe anxiety navigating a loss in the family, along with like having to qualify for his first US Open. That's all. And hot guys in the mix. And I wouldn't even say that their hangouts are in any caliber like romantic, because they're not. They're giving dude bro, and that's half of the thing is he's just like, I don't even know if he's like into me. Like, is he even into dudes? It's not a romance. And I would say like that would be fine if it was as good as Crash Test. Because that book is like a novel about 2 people coming into their own and also finding love together, like coming back together and finding love. So it's a subplot of romance because it's very much a subplot of romance. However, Crash Test, 17 times better than the Open era. And I don't know if the author was like shooting for that kind of vibe, or if this is just the book that he wrote and it's just not good. Because also, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, he comes out, the love interest comes out after he loses his, like, the final at the US Open. And you're gonna tell me this man decided after 10 days, maybe 14 days of knowing our main character and trading not 1 but 2 kisses and a blowjob, that was enough for him to decide that he was gonna come out on the world stage with no fucking plan. No plan. No PR in place, no strategic meetings, no therapist, no informing everybody else so he has a support network, nothing. He just comes out. Casually and coolly and very like, whisper-esque, but still comes out on the national stage, international stage. Like, what? And the only saving grace of this book, the only saving grace, is that there is a comment by the therapist telling our main character that he's trying to win therapy, and you can't win therapy. You just show up. It's like practice. This isn't a match. It's the practice. And that healing and going to therapy is showing up when you don't want to, putting in the work when you don't want to. And sometimes you really improve your kick serve. Sometimes you get a really great forehand that you're practicing on. And then sometimes it's just everything's a back pedal and it doesn't work and your forehand's off and your kick serve doesn't work, but you've got to show up and you've got to do it. And that's the only way to see progress, because the winning will take care of itself, which is very fitting because that's something that my coach said. My tennis coach said like 18, 19, 20 years ago when I used to get choked up about winning. Like, it would really upset me that I was like kept losing. And he literally just looked at me and said, if you take care of becoming a better tennis player, the winning will happen on its own. And I'm kind of, you know, now that I'm older, I really sit and think about the only sage wisdom that horrible man gave me. And it was that, and it's feeling really, really relevant to my current life in this moment. Anyways, that was like the only saving grace. That, and that there isn't really an epilogue. Like, it ends with him coming out on the international stage. What? I was so disappointed. I don't know if I think I had the expectations of like, I love tennis. I love a romance, and I love a queer romance. I'm pumped. And then it fell flat. It lacked a lot of depth. The romance, like, they just hung out as buddies the whole time. Like, truly. And I really didn't like being in our main character's headspace because it was just so, you're a horrible person, like anxiety ridden, but also like mean anxiety. And I get that is people's headspace because I also have mean anxiety. But I don't know. It also, in my opinion, wasn't really a good mental health rap, because then they talk about how like being in love is the same as like having anxiety, how it puts you off kilter. And like, maybe I can see what you're going with, but I hate that. And then also the fact that like you have anxiety so you know the future. No, your anxiety is not accurate. It feels accurate sometimes because sometimes things don't go as planned. Sometimes things are out of your control and sometimes things just happen. But anxiety is not a premonition. It's an evil gremlin who tells you the world is out to harm you at every turn. It's not correct. And he should have been in therapy probably sooner. He should have, honestly, like the discussion of meds where he's like, I don't know if I like that thought. And it's like, okay, cool. You're hesitant for meds. I understand. But also the med conversation and the therapy conversation should have been happening a way, way sooner. And it is a disturb. What do you mean he has numerous panic attacks while on the tennis court? So this was a disappointment. I think I gave this like a 2.75 because then I also read the reviews and people either really eat this up or they're actually quite upset by it. And I find myself, and they're not quite upset because it was whatever, but it was, I am annoyed that I took 5 hours out of my day. And I'm just disappointed. More than rivals, more than a match. They're barely rivals. They are rivals in the simple fact that they both play tennis. He's like in the 200s and the love interest is number 2. They're not rivals. More than a match. And they're not more than a match. One would say that they're equally matched, actually. This is like a 9-minute clip. It wasn't good. It wasn't good, but I kind of match. I don't know what I'm going to read next. I guess you'll see in the next clip.
PR damage book. No, I'm talking about before all of this happened. Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to not interrupt. No, it's okay. I
found, as you can see, I found a book to read. I didn't tell you about it till right now, but It's a Tapestry of Fate. I got a Lucky Day loan, so we got to read this ASAP. And I didn't think I was going to be intrigued by it. I'm in fact intrigued. I got 90 pages in the first sit before it was Love Island time. And this is book 2. And so the first book is just you meet Amina, and she is a retired pirate who's also a mom. She's been raising her daughter, and she gets pulled out of retirement. Can't exactly know why. Things happen. Things go awry. By the end of the book, she is now required by a binding contract of sorts that she must go get like 5 items for this council. And that's how it ends. And they give her some reprieve to go home and be with her child and family. And we start with her and her gang retrieving item 2 or 3, I think. Because I think this whole book will be retrieving item 4, and I think the third book will be retrieving item 5. But yeah, so we start there. And at this point, they've retrieved the item. They've gotten their next mission. And let the games begin. The one thing that is a little sad is I did read the last paragraph of this book, because I have a weird thing about sequels. Not sequels. The middle book of a trilogy. They're always diabolical. And just to save myself some large emotional response and to keep me from another book slump, reading slump, I read this. And it's diabolical, actually, what's gonna happen. Like, I can imagine myself, like, gasping and then being so sad. Because where we are right now and what's going on in her life, I'm like, no, Amina, you don't understand. You don't know what's gonna happen. But neither was I. I wasn't supposed to know. And so, in reality, I wouldn't be moved at all by what's currently happening. But I'm like, this is all gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Really interesting so far. But that is a trait about me. I do read the back of the book sometimes. If I want to read the book, but I know that I'm too scared of my emotional response, I read it before I'm emotionally invested. But yeah, that's about me. Some people crack open the middle of a book, read the middle, see if it's intriguing. To save myself emotional overwhelm, read the last paragraph of books I'm semi-invested in. So, this is what we're reading. I'm off. Catch you in the next clip. Alright, lunch has been made. Paper has been shredded in order to make a neon garland. I want to replace all the purple garland that's happening around the apartment just because, not that I don't like it, it's just Purple is very much like my color, not my roommate's color. My roommate likes saturated, bright colors, so I figured it's time to switch it out. Summertime anyways, because the purple's from my birthday, which is February. But I did literally just one like round of these. There's 17 of them, so I'm gonna see how much this makes, and like where I like, by how much I mean like how long the garland is. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with the purple. A part of me wants to just like store it somewhere, but it's like I can't keep storing large amounts of paper. Also, I've been reading or listening to Lost in Space. I thought this was a queer little sci-fi novella. Shocker to me when I think I started listening to it around like 10-11, and it's 3:13 that it's actually a full-blown novel. The audiobook is 11 hours. 11 hours. Like, what? Like, things are happening. I don't know where the ship is gonna land, figuratively and literally, with this. Like, I'm kind of like tired of it at this point. That I'm like, okay, like we're progressing, but what's, I don't know. And I think I'm listening to 2 times speed on the NetGalley app, and I apparently have 5 hours left, which I'm listening to 2 times speed, so I have relatively 2.5 hours left. And I'm just like, dear God, have I been listening to this already for 3 hours? That can't be right. In this sci-fi, what's basically happening is you've got our main character Torin, who needs to get off the like space station that she's on because her sister, who is older than her older sister, basically has like cosmic asthma due to recycled air, and it's a death sentence. Like, there's nothing, it's not, well, I guess it's just, she'll just continuously deteriorate because there's like no helping it, because her body reacts really poorly to the recycled air. So they need to get off the space station onto like a natural planet or whatever, and she goes to like get a ship, I guess, and she ends up with the ship that's in our book. And it's, I actually just forgot the name. It's not traitorish, it's like disastrous or something like that. Disaster or something, I don't know. Anyways, on that ship is a sentient AI that is called Most, and it's called Most because it's the moss. And so the moss is sentient, and it's like covered in this ship, and the Most has insecurity issues and some abandonment issues, because you learn that it was abandoned for like a century by its like previous owner slash like builder slash inventor. And yeah, so now we're just bopping around. I'm halfway through and I'm like kind of tired. I really feel like this should have been a novella, but maybe I'm wrong. I still have 2.5 hours left. It's just bananas. So I'm just like, dude, ugh. So I'm like, I kind of want to watch TV while I put together the garland, but I'm like, but there's nothing really on either. And I saw the first look for tonight, and I think Love Island, this episode, I think 15, is going to be yummy and delicious. I do realize that I think some of my views or my opinions might have aged poorly. I had a video that I might have posted if this sees the light of day, because we got even more information and comments that I was like, ew, I don't like them. I really hope Casa spices things up a bit. I also hope too that Zach loses Kata, because he clearly is not into her. And I hope Kata finds someone better, which maybe she does. Alright, I'm also tired. And part of me is like, I can keep drinking my energy drink, and it's like, girl, it's 3. No. If you want to drink a fun little flavored beverage, you have a fiber soda. Or your liquid IV. If you don't want to drink water. Okay, catch you in the next clip. Gorgeous. Alright, well, several days later, and here's the update. My lucky loan returned. So, lol, we are only this far into the book, which seems like a lot. What page is that? It's like page 200 out of 460, 470. Yeah. So this one's now a soft DNF until I get my audiobook back. So I've decided, oops, to start The Someday Garden. It's just the newest Ashley Poston. These are contemporary romances set with some sort of magic of sorts happening. My favorite one out of all of her books has been The 7-Year Slip, which I think is her most popular one. And yeah, it's just about she goes to an inn and has to maintain the garden, and the garden has a magical door that opens, and it's never in the same place twice. And apparently there's somebody grumpy on the inside of that garden, but there's also somebody grumpy or of interest at the inn. I don't know, I'm excited. So we're gonna move on. I love how brightly colorful her covers are. It's one of my favorite things about them. All right, on to the next. I need to post it. The chapter names, can you see, are in the untranslatable words. Wait. 44 pages in, plot twist, I'm gonna watch a movie because I just finished, I don't even know what chapter 5, and the last 2 lines already had me tearing up, and so we're gonna watch a movie, and then I'm gonna come back to this. I don't know why that feels fitting, but that's what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna watch My Fault, No Fault, something London Part 2, whatever of that, like movies. I don't know. Real quick, I went back to reading. We're now at page 107, and the only thing I want to say is I have a slight prediction, and I think the man in the garden is there because someone doesn't want to talk about their feelings, and so therefore he is locked away in the garden. Also, don't mind, I picked up my face, so I put blister pads over the acne. That's all. I just wanted on camera to say that, and then we'll see what happens. Alright, I finished The Someday Garden, and I'm not mad at it, but I'm not overjoyed with it either. This is not a forward romance novel. It's a story about Sophie and her dealing with grief, along with every other main character, not even the main characters, every other side character also dealing with grief of some form or another. So we spend the whole book, for the most part, kind of talking about that, about thinking you have time when you don't have time, and running away from a situation, building walls, breaking them down, like this whole thing, healing, not healing, talking about it, not talking about it, and then the romance is very much in the back. And it didn't help that the way this magic is set up doesn't really allow for there to be a lot of on-page romance that we get to see. Like, I do think we got to see a decent chunk for it being in the background, but I wanted more. I was excited I think I possibly had a different idea of how the secret garden of it all was going to go down. And although I'm not mad at the way it manifested, I thought it was gonna, in my mind, my expectation was because it would have allowed for more like time with the romantic interest instead of the way that it was set up here, which really reduced the amount of time and hangout and whatnot. So yeah, I'm not mad at it. It isn't my favorite. I still think The 7-Year Slip is my favorite out of all of them. And the only one I haven't read is a novel story. But I guess let me change. I think I gave this like a 3.5 out of 5. I cried the whole time because it's sad. But catch you in the next clip. Alright. I'm going to commit to the bit and finish this book. It's one of 4 books I'm currently in the middle of. I'm in the middle of All the Good Indians, Big Girl Blitz, and you saw the Tapestry of Fate, which I did get my audiobook back. So we're going to do that at some point, but also I started an arc yesterday or the day before or a couple of days ago, and I have 2 hours left of that arc. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to finish. Well, my mom's coming into town. Today is Sunday, and I'm hoping that since the World Cup game was yesterday and she's coming in today around midday and that it's raining off and on, that she'll want to go to Nico's and we can go to lunch there. Because, yeah, because I don't think I'm going to want to do it tomorrow because she's just hanging out with me today and tomorrow, and then she's going to leave. Yeah. Anyways, so we're gonna, I have roughly 2.5 hours left. That's also the amount of time it's supposed to take her to get from wherever she is currently to me. So I want to get this off my currently reading. I don't know. I feel like I accomplished something else. Put some more books on my, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, let's make, I was gonna say some moves, but let's read some chapters. All right, I'm back. And by back, I say that because it's been several days, but I finished All the Good Indians and Lost in Space, and here's the situation. This was interesting, and I was invested all the way till I got to the Sweat Loss Massacre, which I think is part 3, because I stopped right there the first time because I was scared of the paranormal entity that was existing in this book, and I said, whoop, I need to sleep tonight, let's put this down, right? So then I picked it back up, and I think I was just bored moving forward. I think because I didn't fully understand the motivations of the paranormal entity, like I did, but then the reasoning for what's happening now, like I think I picked up on, and maybe I just missed it when I was reading this, but I was like, what is the rhyme or reason this much later to be doing these things, and why did you decide to go here with that? And I was like, what's going on? And along with that, it was done really well, but that's what makes it really confusing, is we would go from our main character seamlessly into our paranormal entity, and I'd be like, oh, I'm not this dude anymore, I'm this thing. Okay. And it was seamlessly done. Then it would be like, oh, we're in the murderous entity now. Got it. I don't know. I just didn't understand the paranormal entity. Like, I do understand why they did what they did, but then I also hate when women and children have to bear the consequences of men's actions. There are 4 men here who do something that they probably shouldn't have done, but they do it anyways, and yet they are not the only ones who pay. People, co-workers, partners, and children who are attached and not attached to these men all pay violently for something they were never a part of. And that grinds my gears. Because that already exists in the real world. In the real world, women and children pay for the hubris of men all of the time. Every day, actually, we are currently living through the hubris of horrific, cruel men. And the ones who are paying the deepest for that are women and children. And other marginalized groups. Like, let's remember there's nuance. And when I say that, I'm also collecting everyone who is not, And it pisses me off. I was just like, can you stop hurting people who weren't there 10 years ago? Can we stop? And the answer was no. No. The paranormal entity will not. So that pissed me off. I think I gave this like a 3. I'm not really sure. I'd have to check my story graph. That was kind of a bummer. Because I think everyone says that you start with this. This is the Stephen Graham Jones to start with. And I get it because I was like, you get a feel for his writing style. But my very first Stephen Graham Jones was, in fact, I Was a Teenage Slasher. It's on my shelf. I DNF'd The Buffalo Hunter because I was like 90, 100 pages in, and it still was so slow moving. And not my vibe. And I have to remember, I'm not into vampires, and apparently it's a vampire book. So, and this really got me in the first 2 parts, and then it really just womp. Maybe I would have been invested had I sucked it up and just finished the whole book in like one sitting. But here's where we sit. And I also finished Lost in Space. This is I got an advanced audio, I guess, listener copy from NetGalley and the publisher. So shout out to them. Thanks for that arc of it all. It's 11.5 hours. This book could have been a novella. I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, I still have 3 hours left. What are we doing? We meander so slowly through the whole story. And then I was just like, this genuinely could have been a novella. And I feel like I rarely think about that in a book. And a lot of times I want my novellas to be longer, but this you could have cut this down. Because it was just so slow moving. And maybe I'm just not into slow moving books. Maybe that's a me thing. Oh my gosh. And I thought, because it's labeled on Storygraph as like LGBTQ, and I think when I was reading it, I can't remember like a few characters using like gender neutral pronouns, or like there's just casually being like queer love with it out being like a big deal. But I think I saw the LGBT and thought immediately like, oh yes, a cozy sci-fi, there's probably going to be a bit of romance. No, not really. I guess one could say there's maybe a little bit of yearning, maybe. But even then I was like, are we supposed to, do they like each other? What is this? And it wasn't well done at all. It feels kind of like a debut. However, this is not a debut. This is the author's like, I think maybe like 4th book. And I was just like, ooh, not for me. Not for me. I did like Most, the AI in the ship, as one is supposed to find him loving and adorable. And that's the only way I like my AI. Loving and adorable in a book. And I don't want it anywhere else. Take all the AI currently and throw it in a hole. Because I don't want it. That's my 2 updates. I was gonna attempt to fit the Tapestry of Fate in here. Fate. Because I did get my audiobook back. And I'm not gonna put it in this vlog. Like, you saw me read a little bit of it. So far, I enjoyed it. Those like 100 and some pages that I'm into it. But I'm not gonna finish it in this vlog. This has already spanned 2 to 3-ish weeks of me reading these random books here and there and everywhere. So we're just gonna call it quits here. I got 4 in here, which was Lost in Space, All the Good Indians, The Someday Garden, and The Open Era. Yeah, because I also already sold The Open Era. That's how long this vlog has been going. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you didn't, well, live your best life. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.